Very good morning to all. This lecture is about cloud-based application development and management. And the code is TCS552. Myself, Dr. Sachin Sharma. Unit 2, Cloud Platforms in Industry. We are going to discuss about the basic terminology that can be used in Microsoft Azure. The Azure portal, and this Azure portal is used to manage and operate the cloud-based environment. And this Azure portal is basically a graphical user interface that connect the customer and the users to the systems or to the service provider. Classic portal, the old graphical user interface using the ASM deployment model, and is deprecated. And the classic portal is the old interface which was designed to access the Microsoft Azure services. Azure environment is a strictly isolated part of the Azure cloud platform where different services can be deployed and developed by the developer. Azure geography, a defined area of the world that contains at least one Azure region. And if you would like to understand the Azure geography, you can visit to their site. And before using the service, that service provider will ask the user, will ask the customer that what geography you would like to use to store your data. And there you can check that what are the available Azure geography, what are the Azure region that is available in the Azure portal. Azure region is it's a geographical location where one or more Azure data centers exist. So whatever location you will see there, that location will show that Azure data centers are located on that place. The Azure subscription is a manageable group of resources for the accounting department, which take care of how many customers they subscribe the Azure services and how they are doing payment to the service provider. So all these things are managed by the accounting department of the service provider. Azure Resource Group is a logical container which is associated with the one subscription which holds related resources for an Azure solution. Microsoft account, that every consumer has to be had account if they would like to use the service, and that's the link signup.live.com. Then the user has to choose that what kind of account that user wants for the work purpose or for the school purpose. And once it's created, then Active Directory includes the Office 365 accounts, and that you will be able to see once you log in your account. The services which are available on Microsoft Azure, what are the services they are offering, and what are the services that are free, and what are the services which are paid. You can see once you sign up for your account. The Azure Resource Manager, and the abbreviation we call it ARM, and it's a modern deployment model in Microsoft Azure, which manage different application, different services. Azure Service Manager, there's a classic version that is the deployment model, and it's not used for new projects. So it's the old one. So it is not preferred. The Azure resources, it's a manageable item that is available through Azure. And there are some common resources such as virtual machines, the storage accounts, web applications, databases, virtual networks, and there are a lot resources which are associated with Microsoft Azure or the Azure resources. It's very famous company, very famous service provider. So they have their business in cloud computing as well, and that what IBM defined that cloud computing is a set of cloud computing services for businesses offered by the information technology company by IBM itself. And the IBM cloud includes infrastructure as a service, software as a service, and platform as a service offered through public, private, and hybrid cloud delivery models. And in addition to that, the components they that make up those clouds. So all those components are the part of IBM cloud computing. As time increasing, the shares of IBM in cloud computing technology is increasing as uh, its IBM is in every domain, IAS, SAS, and PS, and it's also providing all three delivery models: public, private, and hybrid, based on the customer requirement. So the IBM provide this set of cloud computing services in every possible domain. IBM cloud deployment models, the public cloud, the public cloud that provides access to virtual server in multi-tenant environment, an enterprise that can choose to deploy its application in one or multiple geographical region. So it is similar to public cloud, but how the IBM is defined their public cloud, it's dependent on the enterprise that uh, IBM is providing services to them. Next is dedicated. It's similar to private cloud, but IBM don't call it private cloud. It's a single tenant private cloud that IBM hosts in one of its data centers, and enterprise that can connect to the environment using the direct network connection or virtual private network. And the IBM manages the platform. So as well as the public deployment model is provided to their customer to install enterprises by IBM. The same, the dedicated is limited to the private single tenant, private tenant, and the services which are related to the dedicated deployment model that are provided by the IBM. There's a worldwide cloud infrastructure service market share. As you see here, that Amazon is a leading company in the cloud computing. They have 33% market share. And then Microsoft comes into the picture. They have 13%. Then IBM has 8%. And the Google, they have 6% share. And Alibaba is a Chinese based company. They have 4% service market share. Here we are talking about the infrastructure only, the cloud infrastructure services only. There are other cloud infrastructure service provider who provides the cloud computing services, and altogether they have shares of 36%. So Amazon is one of the leading company because they have the updated infrastructure, all new configuration of the system which they have deployed. It's not even more than a decade when they have deployed and they have installed, they have created their infrastructure. And for the coming years, the other companies that you see, Microsoft, IBM, Google, and Alibaba, they are continuously increasing their infrastructure. So there will be a slightly difference, the market share uh, that you see. The Salesforce.com, it's a cloud computing and social enterprise software as a service provider based on San Francisco, which was founded in March 1999, where former Oracle executive Mark Benioff, who founded Salesforce.com, and there are tools in the application Force.com. Force.com, it's a platform as a service which allows admins and developers to create websites and applications with Apex that integrate into the main Salesforce.com application. App Exchange, it's the another tool which is a custom application building and sharing platform for third party applications that run on the Force.com platform. So the Force.com is the PS service name provided by Salesforce.com. App Exchange is application, service application, which is which provides the custom application building and sharing platform for third party. And Salesforce.com is a software as a service application. Heroku Enterprise gives developers flexibility to create apps using preferred language and tools. Salesforce Shield protects enterprises with tools that enhance transparency and compliance across all the apps. And Salesforce DX is a new way to manage and develop Salesforce apps across the entire life cycle. Salesforce Thunder is a big data and rules processing engine which is designed to analyze events and take personalized action. So if you are using Salesforce.com application, there are different application which helps you to uh, customize, to personalize your service. Salesforce Identity provides a single trusted identity for every employee, the partners, the customers, that allows users to manage apps and data. So other than that, Salesforce.com, Force.com, Heroku, Salesforce DX is there, Salesforce Thunder is there, and for the security and privacy, Salesforce has their own system to take care of that. The Salesforce Trailhead. This is going to be very important for all of you. If you are interested to pursue training in Salesforce, you have to know this terminology. Salesforce Trailhead is a series of online tutorials that teach various level developers how to code for the Salesforce platform. And the Salesforce has the certification which they provide. Once you complete the tutorial, you have to attempt some questions so that you will be expert of that level and you will earn that badges and super badges. Salesforce Sandbox, which allows developers to test ideas in a safe and isolated development environment. It also helps to the developer to create, to innovate the new application environment and develop as per the customer need, test it before you deploy at the enterprise end or at the customer end. The Salesforce Connect, which allows users to connect and access data from other Salesforce organization and external sources. Now it is pretty interesting that Salesforce.com is a software as a service, Force.com is a platform as a service, and the language which is used to develop the Salesforce.com application is Apex. So the Apex is a programming language which allows developers to execute flow and transaction control statements on the Force.com platform. As a language, Apex is integrated, easy to use, it's data focused, rigorous, hosted, multi tenant aware, automatically upgradable, easy to test, and version. So, this was the overview of Salesforce.com, and that's it for the day. I hope you have enjoyed the lecture. Thank you.